One of the most confusing yet crucial parts of launching a new podcast is making sure your podcast shows up everywhere. And that especially means Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts has been around for a really long time in the form of iTunes and then currently Apple Podcasts. And lots of other apps like Overcast pull from Apple Podcasts directory. So you're doing a great disservice by not having your show showing up in Apple Podcasts. But like I said, up until recently, it's been really confusing, especially if you don't already have an iCloud account. You'd have to sign up for an account, sign up for Apple Podcasts Connect, and then go through the submission process. But over at RSS.com, we recently rolled out automatic submission for Apple Podcasts. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that, how much easier the process is, and then how you can claim your show after we've submitted it for you. If we go back to the distribution tab, we have a number of platforms we'll automatically submit to. Your show is automatically submitted to the RSS.com community, but we also have automatic submission for Spotify, Apple Music, and crucially, Apple Podcasts. This process has gotten a lot easier. So there are a few ways that you can do automatic submission. You can do it individually. So if I go to Apple Podcasts and click the toggle, we will accept the Apple Podcast terms of service. Then click continue. This will process, and then once the show is submitted, it will show as active. Once our show is done processing, it will be active on Apple Podcasts. Now, because this was automatic submission, it's not going to show up in our Apple Podcasts Connect account. We'll have to claim our show. So let's do that really quick. If we scroll down, we'll see a section for claim our show. And if we go to Apple Podcast Connect and log in, we can scroll down to more actions and click claim existing show. So we'll claim our existing show by grabbing the Apple Podcast show URL. I have found that the fastest way to do that early on is by going back to our dashboard to my podcast and clicking on public website, because once the show is active, we can get the URL from the listen on Apple Podcasts from the RSS.com podcast website. So I'm going to right click and copy link address, then go back to Podcast Connect, paste in the URL, our show will show up here. I'll click next, and then we'll be given a token to claim the show. I'll go back to our distribution tab in our RSS.com dashboard, scroll down to claim your show on Apple Podcasts, and paste in the token, then click claim. The token has successfully been saved. So when we go back to Apple Podcast Connect, it might take some time for it to show up here, but once everything goes through and is processed, your show that you just recently claimed will show up under your shows in Apple Podcast Connect. So there you have it, how to automatically submit your podcast to Apple Podcasts through RSS.com, and then subsequently how to claim it in your Apple Podcasts account so that you can access analytics and have the show show up in your own account. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about automatic submission through Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and until next time, I'll see you out there.